It has been weeks of torment for the brother and niece of Judi Weinstein, a Canadian believed to be held by Hamas.
We get calls in the middle of the night, no, Judi is not part of the next hostage release.
Haunted by the agony of not knowing her fate.
There's a tension with that. There's like a limbo.
It's like we're forced to have hope. Hope can gnaw at you.
I spoke with Larry and Ali Weinstein earlier today.
I don't have a sense of her other than the photos that you've sent and what you're saying now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do people need to know about her?
Judi is an amazing person. She is just always this sensitive, brilliant, poetic person who did very well in school and kept skipping grades and was just infused with music and poetry and writing, who then went to Israel in her 20s, fell in love with this man who was a saxophonist and a chef, and they decided eventually to have a life on a kibbutz, which happened to be very close to Gaza. She wrote thousands of haiku, which were about her surroundings and about peace. She taught mindfulness to children whenever there were attacks. On October 7th, Judi herself put out a message to her kibbutz that she had been wounded and that her husband Gadi had been severely wounded. Mm-hmm. We speculate, we become very grim, we have hope, but is there any news, actual news? Maybe a little bit. We found out that beyond this talk she had with someone at the kibbutz who was going to bring an ambulance when they found out they were shot, and then the ambulance was rocketed or destroyed by Hamas who came in. We found out that she did another call, like a 911 call, and sounds like the wounds were maybe even more serious than she had let on initially. So that's the kind of thing we know.
And Near Oz is a place, I think we're talking about 25% of the people who lived in Near Oz were either killed, missing, or taken captive.
400 people lived there, and 25% of them are gone right now, taken hostage or killed. And it is incredible that in the last few days, I think we're at 37 people from Near Oz have been returned, which is amazing, and we're really happy for our cousins that they've gotten at least some friends and community members back that they grew up with.
So as those people come back, who were held in Gaza, do they bring information with them? I mean,
yes, the children grew up on this kibbutz. It's not just their parents. They know everybody. They know all the people who were taken hostage. They know all the people who were murdered. So Iris calls them and finds out, did you see my mother? Did you see my father? And so far the answer has always been no.
We know that they're gone. We know that Gadi, more than likely, we feel fairly certain based on the information that we have that he was killed. Judi, we know that she was shot, but we don't know her condition, whether she's alive or dead. But we do have multiple reasons to believe that they are in Gaza, both of them.
Why do you say that?
Well, from early on, they were on Israel's hostage list as opposed to missing list. I know that they geolocated their phones in Gaza. My cousins have had to do a lot of detective work on their own. That's an understatement. They've been having to pore through these videos that are circulating online that Hamas themselves recorded and then live streamed or whatever, and to watch this carnage, hoping to see an image of their parents, just to know what condition they were in that moment.
So that must mean then that every day that a list comes out and they're not on it is a super rough day.
So we get calls in the middle of the night sometimes that no, Judi is not part of the next hostage release. And we've been getting that every single night, and every time it's been heartbreaking because we didn't have that much hope at the beginning. We were thinking the worst, but there's only so long you can have that darkness. So you start having glimmers of hope, and that hope is real, and you just really want it, and you want to be able to share it with your family, and you fantasize hugging Judi, and yeah.
that must mean that hope carries a bit of a burden too, right? Like,
Yes.
like hope is something you crave, but must be a weight to having it.
When I get into my realistic mode, I think she's not alive. It's unlikely she is. But for some reason, it's like this other side of me goes, no, you must have hope.
This not knowing is, it's particularly excruciating.
What did Nietzsche say about hope? That it's one of the cruelest things that we could ever have. It's true. It's hope. Hope can gnaw at you.
I'm just wondering what it's like for you to move through the world right now. Mm-hmm. You're still living your lives, and it's far away, and yet the anger and the fear is very present. And what's it been like for you to move through the world knowing that this is not an academic conversation for you, this is family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just been hard to certainly like relate to other people right now. Mm. And I will say, I think that it has felt like a very isolating time, because as you said, this is not just like an academic conversation, this is very real. And people around the world are very angry. And
we're angry too, though.
Yeah, we have been angry as well.
Does it make you feel vulnerable? More vulnerable in this moment?
Certainly it's felt very hurtful to see the hate mongering that is happening here, so far away from the situation. And the fact that this conversation has, on social media, which is a questionable place sometimes, has spilled over into all of this hate mongering.
Please don't say something that's potentially hurtful to us or our families, because we understand the problem. We hate Netanyahu. We don't endorse what's going on. No one in the family does, and we don't want to suffer like this.
So now what for you two? How do you navigate the next few days?
It's just more waiting. Can the Red Cross get in there to see the hostages that are remaining and to give them medical attention and bring back proof of life if it exists? Because I know we're certainly not the only ones who just don't know whether the person that we love who is missing is even alive or amongst these hostages. And just really, really hoping that a ceasefire continues, that all the hostages come back, that this cycle of violence can end.
And I kind of hope the leaderships change as well along the way, because I think a lot of people have a lot to answer for. Mm-hmm. This shouldn't have happened.
Listen, thank you for coming to talk. I know it's not easy to talk, and I'm sure there's a big part of you that didn't want to, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Larry and Ali are just part of Judi and Gadi's family here in Canada, but Judi and her husband Gadi also have family in the United States and in Israel who are working 24/7, poring over those videos, those social media posts for any clues to their whereabouts. It is brutal, traumatic work, but it's work that will continue until they find any answers or they're hopefully reunited. Next, a mega oil producer goes green.
Currently, they display themselves a bit better than they are.
Why some say Dubai is not doing enough to curb climate change. With all eyes on the world's largest climate conference, this solar farm is a message to the world.
This plant is 200 times bigger.
It says United Arab Emirates is keen on a green future, but there are skeptics.
The transition has been slow.
Phasing out from fossil fuel is something will happen. The question is at what pace?
Our international climate correspondent, Susan Ormiston, is in the U.A.E. for COP28, so she breaks down the eco-friendly campaign of an oil and gas giant.
On the road to the future, there are camels, at least here in the Arabian desert. Down this highway is one of the largest solar plants in the world, just opened.
It's facing west, so you can have a good picture.
We came to see Al Dhafra PV just outside Abu Dhabi to understand how a country rich in oil is promoting a transition to renewable energy. That's their pitch. This massive plant is 21 square kilometers, nearly 4 million solar panels, soaking up the desert sun. There's no shortage of that.
So what's unique about this plant is
Abdulaziz Al-Ubaldi is the chief operating officer of Masdar, the UAE's $30 billion renewable energy company.
when we started building similar projects in 2009, we built a 10 megawatt plant, and that was the largest in the Middle East. This plant is 200 times bigger.
Bigger is better, as the world demands alternatives to fossil fuels. The solar panels from China are the latest technology, says Masdar. The project was built for scale and efficiency.
It follows the sun from sunrise to sunset.
That creaking sound is the sound of the solar panels twisting to recalibrate towards the sun to get the most energy.
It's used bifacial technology, which means one, it absorbs sunlight coming from the sky, but also absorbs the reflection of sunlight from the sand to the panels again.
Underneath,
and that's increased the efficiency even further.
they've even engineered a solution to the shifting sands.
So the issue is, you see the dust, right? And you see how big the grains are. With the humidity, when they settle on the panels, the sun cooks them and make a cementation layer that is not easy to clean.
That's the job of the robots. Brushing any settled sand off the solar mirrors. The energy feeds into the UAE's national grid to help power its clients cheaper. This project can power a small city, we're told, 160,000 households. But even with this massive plant, the UAE uses only a fraction of green energy. 30% of its GDP comes from the export of oil and gas still. So green is good, but oil is still the black gold. This ambition is impressive. However, you are also expanding oil and gas in this country still, when scientists say we shouldn't be.
Phasing out from fossil fuel is something will happen. There is no question, no one can question that fact. The question is at what pace, without interrupting security of supply and so on. The focus should be on what we are doing and not is what we have done before or how much still we have as reserves of oil and gas. That's what I would like to invite everyone to focus on, because that's what we have done in the UAE, and this is what we believe is the pragmatic way towards solving the issue.
That is the message from Dubai. The glittering, glamorous, fun city in the Middle East where tourism is booming. A kingdom ruled by a sheikh with more than $2.5 trillion in national assets. A country becoming an international finance center and promoting rapid development. Cranes are everywhere. It may be going green more than other Gulf states, but it's still pumping 4.5 million barrels of oil a day and wants to hit 5 million soon. With COP in Dubai, the UAE is under intense scrutiny for any conflict of interest and greenwashing, according to Akshat Rathi.
It is perhaps within that region the one that has gone furthest in building green energy. But despite being furthest ahead, less than 2% of its energy comes from non-fossil fuel sources. So it's been decades of work, but clearly on the ground, the transition has been slow.
A complicated message here at COP, where there are urgent calls to halt harmful greenhouse gas emissions. Lisa Fisher is with climate research company E3G.
They're putting a tiny fraction of their oil and gas profits into renewable energy at home, into shiny projects that in their own right are impressive, definitely. But in terms of where we need to get to, they're nowhere near enough.
We must act, and we must deliver in Dubai.
Skepticism, too, around Sultan Al Jaber, COP28's president, who also runs the national oil company, ADNOC.
Currently, they display themselves a bit better than they are.
That's strained trust in the whole process, says Nicholas Hona with the New Climate Institute.
On the one hand, indeed, he wants to show himself as a leader in the clean transition. On the negative side, however, he's also the CEO of the national oil company. And what we really need to do for climate is to phase out fossil fuels. And that would basically eliminate the basis of his business.
Back at Al Dhafra, the tour's over. Masdar is planning more solar and wind projects as it polishes its image as a green energy powerhouse.
So, Susan, you're at COP now, the eve of this monumental conference. Some 90,000 registered delegates, as I understand it?
Yeah, I mean, it's part energy trade show, part circus, some say, and then those tough negotiations in the back rooms. Expect some fireworks. I mean, the controversial Sultan Al Jaber's leadership. Has he got the room, or has he frayed some trust? We expect to hear a lot about curbing those fossil fuel emissions and some positive things, Adrienne. More countries signing on to triple renewable energy and curb methane emissions. They're even nastier than CO2 emissions. But you know, this conference has a challenge. We've seen so many climate crises over the last year, floods, fires, and heat. Can the laborious UN process meet that challenge in the next few weeks?
All right, Susan Ormiston in Dubai. Next, the Canadian kids show going viral on TikTok.
I think it just touches people's heart, the whole thing.
Why Nana's love is catching hearts online in our moment.
Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
So if you're on TikTok, that song may be coming up on your feed a lot, but it's originally from a Canadian kids show, Nana Land, that's now 20 years old. So CBC Toronto's Hayden Waters sat down to chat with the creators, who are thrilled their little show is blowing up online. The Nana Land resurgence is our moment.
Who's that wonderful girl? Could she be any cuter?
As I started to see numbers grow, and I was like, oh my God, because now I think the hashtag Nanaland on TikTok has been seen 93 million times. And watching it blow up was amazing.
I'm so excited. It feels so good. It's just so validating and affirming of what we thought was an amazing show.
The message of Nanaland is peace and joy and love and unconditional support.
I think it just touches people's heart, the whole thing.
Nana's such a hype woman, right? She's hyping her granddaughter. She loves her granddaughter, and I think people really connect with that. Yeah. There are a lot of comments saying, I wish I had a Nana like that. That's what Nana represents.
Nana, you were in the New York Times this week. Did you know that?
I saw that. That's very weird. Who knew? Thank you so much. And I want to tell you, you are all so wonderful.
I wish some of you could have seen inside our newsroom today. Half the staff is like singing that song. But the producer of the moment, fantastic man named Andrew, said that he also has a Nana, and he calls her Nana, and his Nana is having heart surgery tomorrow. And so that if he could dedicate a moment, he would dedicate this one. So why not? Nana, we're all rooting for you. From all of us here at The National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app. Subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.